Yeah, whole city cold, but the bullets hotter, but the girls is hotter, and the love is louder. What's up, man? It's your boy Quizzy, man. I'm back today with another video. Man, we gotta check this out. If y'all don't even know, your boy is a big Dave Chappelle fan. I'm talking about a big Dave Chappelle fan. Period. I like a lot of comedians. Like, I'm into the comedy space. I somewhat in another life would appreciate being a comedian. And in some ways I am, but I'm not a stand-up comedian, all right? I'm just an entertainer that likes to make people laugh. Like, I'm not a stand-up comedian. Dave Chappelle is the comedian's comedian. With everything that he does, you have good and you have bad. Now, the bad is not necessarily bad and the good is not necessarily good. It just all depends on the eyes of the beholder, right? What might be good to me might be bad to you and vice versa. One thing that we can all agree on is Dave Chappelle might say some things that might make people feel a certain type of way. He apparently has said something that has really offended the LGBTQ community, and now he's canceled. You can't cancel Dave Chappelle, bro. Shout out to the LGBTQ community, because you guys have your own movement and that's what you're doing. And I don't think that everybody a part of that community cancels Dave Chappelle. I don't think that. I think that there's certain parts of everybody that might like him or might not like him, but you can't cancel Dave Chappelle, bro. If we didn't have Dave Chappelle, everybody's rights would be taken advantage of.
Hence of controversial comedian Dave Chappelle
is the baddest person to touch a microphone that's alive right now.
Facts.
I will say it, and I will stand by it.
Dave's a beast. Dave's a beast, man. That's the only man that puts a little fear in my heart. I'm like, okay.
Chris Rock, yeah.
What's he doing?
Do you watch him? Do you watch him?
Totally.
You study?
Totally. I got Chappelle. I got an app. I follow him. I'm like, my man Prince Paul always says, competition keeps you in condition.
Oh, fact.
So yeah, that's my man right there.
After the release of Dave Chappelle's routine, The Closer, which pulled and poked fun at trans people, Dave Chappelle became a target of furious tweets and fingers pointing at the comedian's audacity to speak against.
But you know what's funny though? You know what's funny? When Dave Chappelle talks shit about white people, nobody cares. When Dave Chappelle talks shit about black people, nobody cares. It's all jokes. When Dave Chappelle talks shit about, like, people of mass robbers and rapists and murderers, it's just jokes. When he talks about the LGBTQ community, or most importantly, not even gay people, just trans people, then it's a big problem.
It's an already marginalized community. As tweeted by a Netflix employee who is transgender, Jacqueline Moore stepped up and boycotted the streaming giant for future projects. She was the showrunner for Dear White People, a Netflix show. So what happened?
Now that was a cool show though. That was all right. She get a little respect.
First, let's talk about the controversial routine in which Chappelle basically talks about the toxic cancel culture and how it takes away one's freedom of speech. He then illustrated his point through various jokes, like declaring himself a TERF.
We were at the Comedy Cellar. Chappelle comes in. Yo, what up, guys? Hey, y'all go up already? Yeah, we just fucking went up. You going up? Hey, all right, we gonna watch. Me and Chris sit in the back. Dave was up probably for 20 minutes. There was a moment where me and Chris looked at ourselves, and the jokes that we just had were going over. At the same time, we bawled the shit out.
You consider yourself the greatest?
No. Dave Chappelle still lives and breathes.
Okay.
And, the fact that the industry blacklisted him for the last 7 years does not take away from the fact that he still walks the earth.
And that's an old interview from Cat Williams. That's an older interview. Can you look at it? Scary Movie? That's an old interview. And he's speaking on it like Man, shout out to Dave Chappelle.
So I stand in deference to him, but I am the king of all of the rest of comedy. Let's make no mistake.
Short for trans exclusionary radical feminist, a term known to label anti-trans campaigners. Additionally, he went on to defend J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter. She had previously been under fire for being transphobic, as she labeled a trans woman's genitalia not quite what it is. In Dave Chappelle's words, they canceled J.K. Rowling. My God. Effectively, she said gender was a fact. The trans community got mad as they started calling her a TERF. I'm Team TERF. Then, Chappelle poked more fun at the LGBTQ members by telling a roundabout banter with a lesbian. He called the woman him and said gender is a fact, diminishing the identity of trans people.
Either watching him or actually being chance.
But that's not even how he did it, though. He actually had a good friend that was trans, that he gave her an opportunity to actually perform for one of his sets, and he gave her a lot of respect. He called her a her. He didn't call her a him. So it's like, you can't, you know what I'm saying, there's what line are we crossing? Like, you know what I'm saying, how can you cancel somebody with that much respect for another person like that?
Interact with him.
I mean, just try to learn, man. He's just a great comedian. I enjoy watching. He's one of, like, it's a lot of headliners that are great, but you only want to see their show once or twice. It's a lot of just him talking about what's going on, or talking about music, or telling old stories, and so it's real fun to watch him on any given night.
This, of course, filled the
Since middle school, I have been single-minded about money management. My mission? To make a platform where
the trans community with rage, and they took to their socials and shared their dismay at the transphobic comments of the infamous comedian. And we are seeing reactions of various celebrities coming out and reacting to Dave Chappelle's being canceled.
Chappelle jokes. And by the way, I noticed people didn't focus on what he had to say about Daphne, and that's how he ended the closer. I don't know if you all watched it yet, but Daphne was a trans woman who's a comedian who he befriended and who was supportive of him, and she was shunned from the LGBTQ community because of her support for Dave Chappelle.
That's
He
crazy.
actually let her perform on stage. And it's very interesting how he tells the story, but what he was saying is she was shunned and ended up, taking her own life because of being shunned from her own community.
So that's what I was talking about. So a straight woman from the LGBTQ community, transgender woman, straight, committed suicide based off of, I would say, the lack of support from her own community, because she sided with somebody who's not even against them. It's like, he's not even against women, and he's not even against men, and he's not against men that want to transition to being women. Like, that's not, or vice versa, a woman want to transition to being men. He's not against them. Everybody gets made fun of. And then he went light on y'all. Man, look at his jokes that he been doing for years. He went light on them, bro. Like, he got black jokes that hit. He got white jokes that hit. He got Muslim jokes that hit. It's all jokes. He's been the man all of these years. Now he gets canceled from this. You can't cancel him. You can't.
So it is important for people to be able to have these discussions. If anything, if you don't agree with Dave Chappelle, at least what he's saying, I mean, he's a comedian.
And by the way, there's other things on that special you could really be outraged about. I mean, I'm not,
That's what I'm saying.
There's some other things they could really be outraged about.
Okay.
Dave Chappelle's a comedian. At the end of the day, he pushes the limit.
He's more than a
doesn't even
comedian. He's a comedian, and he's one of the biggest
He's a
voices we
genius
got
when it
out
comes to
here.
it.
I mean, if you don't like it, just
turn
don't
it off.
listen.
Yeah,
Word up.
if you don't like it, turn it off. That's
Like,
it.
I don't know what we hope to accomplish with any of this.
I don't know either.
Like, what can you do? He's buying his own comedy club. He got.
You're not going to silence him.
You can't silence
Netflix
him.
is not taking his special down. Netflix, the last special caused the controversy. Netflix didn't take it.
And by the way, let's be clear. I'm sure Dave is smart enough and quite aware to know that this is going to cause controversy.
But Dave don't
he's
care.
saying,
He does
they
his
ain't going to
comedy.
cancel me after this one.
And here's the other
He
thing.
did say
Dave
that.
is not trying to be malicious. The intention is to be funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is funny.
It is.
For example, Dan Levy. He is known for being Schitt's Creek's creator. He was indeed against Dave Chappelle's comedy show and shared his feelings about the controversy and supported the walkout protest of the Netflix employees.
Bro, look, it looked like you're lying and try to walk away from your goddamn eyebrows. Like, bro, calm down, man.
On his Instagram, he said that he supports every Netflix employee who chose to raise their voice and stand up against the streaming giant.
Well, if you support every Netflix employee, I hope that you're willing to pay their salary as well.
To guarantee a safe and supportive work environment. He further added that there isn't a debate regarding the harmfulness of transphobia. The second star to speak up against the comedian is Jamila Jamil, a British actress who is notorious for her role in the show The Good Place on Netflix. She supported the protest in California and appeared in the video for the Netflix CEO, which discussed these dangers caused by transphobia. She took the matter to her Twitter, where she wrote, "I really wish I hadn't seen Chappelle's closing show. I hope he stays away for a long time, maybe until this legit obsession with undermining trans people goes away. Such a smart man, so willfully misinformed."
So look, such a smart man. So when he was making jokes about white people, why wasn't this a problem? When he was making jokes about black people, why wasn't this the problem? When he was making jokes about the US government, why wasn't this the problem? Wait, I'll wait!
And committed to showing us what an out-of-touch bellend he's becoming. Even Elliot Page joined the slew of Dave Chappelle's backlashers by supporting the Netflix employees who walked out. In 2020, Page came out as trans. She is famous for her roles in X-Men and the Umbrella Academy on Netflix. She retweeted support for the rally and wrote, "I stand with the trans, non-binary, and BIPOC employees at Netflix, fighting for more and better trans stories and a more inclusive workplace. Hashtag Netflix walkout." Elliot and Jamila are backed by George Takei, an infamous Star Trek actor and campaigner. He is totally against Dave, as evident in his tweet. If Dave Chappelle had so blatantly attacked another minority group, such as Asians, Muslims, or Jews, would Netflix have so readily stood by?
He already has! That's the thing. He has, bro. What are you talking about? He doesn't attack anybody. Let's just stop this. Life attacks me. Life attacks him as an Asian man. I believe he's Asian. My bad. If he's not Asian, my bad. Life attacks him. Life attacks white people. Life attacks black. Life attacks Indian people. Life attacks everybody. And in some point, life will hit harder than any of this. We are going to wars. Ain't nobody protesting shit that's in Africa. People that's dying. Ain't nobody protesting shit that's in Syria. People that's dying. But yet they're protesting Dave Chappelle speaking about how he feels. Y'all were ready to walk out and support all these people. Where's the money? Where's the money to support these people that's walking out of Netflix? Where's the money to support them for the next year then, huh? Since you want to support so much, where's the money? It's easy to bandwagon on something when you see, oh yeah, everybody's doing it, so I'm a bandwagon. It's easy to do that. It's harder to stand up and be an individual, and it's harder to take criticism. It's very hard to take criticism.
By his artistic freedom, it's hard not to feel like trans people are considered fair game in today's America. This is why we must speak out. Next, we have Billy on the Streets actor Billy Eichner. His game show is also accessible on Netflix. He supported the Netflix employees' walkout. In his tweet, he says that he is sending my love and full support to all trans employees and their allies participating in the hashtag Netflix walkout today. Numerous celebrities have also spoken in support of the pro-trans walkout video. The video includes celebrities.
Not my boy Jackie Chan, bro. I swear I hope that these are just pictures. Because I see some really great people that just like, how? Like, you know, I don't think that they actually understand what he was saying.
Like Sarah Ramirez, Colton Haynes, Angelica Ross, Jonathan Van Ness, Our Lady J, and Eureka O'Hara. The video was sent to Sarandos, who arose to support Dave Chappelle. According to Sarandos, Chappelle is one of the most popular stand-up comedians today, and we have a long-standing deal with him. His last specials, Sticks and Stones, also controversial, is our most watched, stickiest, and most award-winning stand-up special to date. As with our other talent, we work hard to support their creative freedom. Even though this means there will always be content on Netflix some people believe is harmful. Like the Netflix CEO, another trans celebrity has thrown her support for the controversial comedian. And she is Caitlyn.
How could y'all stand up against him when the biggest the biggest supporter for the community, for that movement, is Caitlyn Jenner. Bro, like, he literally made a joke about her. And yet, I'm done.
Jenner. She reposted a clip to Twitter and wrote that she supports Dave Chappelle because he is 100% correct. She rejected the backlash, stating that it isn't revolving around the LGBTQ community, rather is because of the woke cancel culture run wild. She tweeted, "We must never yield or bow to those who wish to stop us from speaking our minds." Regardless of the reactions and the backlash, Dave Chappelle says that people should just listen and watch his routine before coming at him, as he is ready to listen but definitely not ready to bend to their demands. And you? What do you think of this whole situation?
I'll
do you
tell
think
you,
there's more to Dave Chappelle's comedy routine?
You're gonna be quiet. Let me talk, ma'am. Ma'am. At the end of the day, we do things that might not be very comfortable to everybody, but at the end of the day, comedy shouldn't be touched. Like, if Dave Chappelle had a Kramer moment where he just got out and he started spilling and yelling out some hateful thing, walk of life for somebody, okay, I got that. I'm not, half the time people don't even listen. They take tidbits of what somebody says and they just run with it. You gotta do your own research. I bet you probably half of those people watched a little bit of that, turned that shit off, and started tweeting away. That's because that's what people do. You know what I'm saying? None of these actors or actresses have tried to have an open discussion, sitting down, talking to Dave Chappelle, because they would get wrecked. Why would they get wrecked? Because they know good and well that they are not even educated. They're just supporting a movement. You can't support the movement if you're not willing to actually, everybody that's a part of a movement should be able to sit down and talk about that movement. Even if they can't, even if they're not the best to talk about that movement, they should be able to sit down. All of those people that are celebrities, they have personal voices. They could have talked about it. Y'all, that is the video for today, man. If you loved it, tell me that you loved it. Drop down in the comments, let me know what you think. I'm not gonna disagree and go back and forth with you, you know what I'm saying? You have your opinion, I have mine, and you know, like I said, over here, it's an open discussion. Let's talk about it if you wanna talk about it, you know what I'm saying? But we'll be respectful towards each other, man. Y'all be safe, peace.